with a trio. We're about to get started. We have Dr. Hargrett here. We're about to give another great presentation, as you know. And Dr. Hargrett, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hey, everyone online. Let me see if I see any familiar faces. All right. Now, are you seeing my presentation online? And of course, you're seeing it in the room, yeah? Everybody online, cool. Good. All right, so let's get started. So I am Carole Hargrett, been here at Broward College now for quite a while. Actually retiring this year. This is my last year here, but I'll come back. I'll get out of here and I'll come back and I'll still do some of these things because this is my passion. I love to help students succeed. And so this is what I've been doing for years. Today, we're going to talk about reclaiming your time. So when I say,
Needs to share the screen.
I cannot see your screen.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, nothing's showing for us.
You gotta make her pause. You have to make her the pause.
give us a minute. We're going to get ready to share the presentation with those of you who are online so you can see it.
Okay.
Now it's good.
I'm not sure if that's the right one because it's not letting me advance it.
No, not from here.
No, it was allowing me before.
No.
Okay, got it. All right, good. All right, so when I say reclaim your time, what do you think that means? That you need to reclaim your time. Take advantage of your time? Make the most of it? Absolutely. What do you say online? Post it in the chat and Thomas will read it out, right, Thomas? Yes, sir. So tell us online, what do you think when I say reclaim the time? We're talking about making the most of it, right? But do you think you need to reclaim your time? Yes, why? Procrastination, that's not a nation you want to live on at all. I have a separate workshop on procrastination, right? I'm going to talk about procrastination because it's our biggest thing. You know, we do it for many reasons, and I'll talk about that another time. But reclaiming your time, to me, when Thomas gave me the wonderful title to use for the presentation, I thought, reclaiming your time, you know, it is learning how to manage your time. It's that old time management. You see it and you're like, I've had a time management course, but are you really managing your time? And so that's the question you have to ask yourself. In our last workshop, we heard about how to manage your health, especially your mental health. And remember the slide that she gave you on time management? Why do you think she included that slide? My gosh, right? As students, you procrastinate your assignments, right? You start to feel stressed. You start to feel anxious. You're not managing your time well at that point, correct? And especially in college, especially if you're transitioning from high school to college, you've got to learn how to manage your time well, or else you will spiral out of control very quickly. And all of the things that she had on that slide, the anxiety, the feeling of stress, of being overwhelmed, will happen to you if you don't reclaim your time, correct? So in this workshop, we are going to talk about how to be proactive, not reactive, in terms of managing your time. We're going to talk about how to achieve better results through using some kind of a scheduler, Google Calendar, And I'm going to show you one through a video that I learned to use recently that's been a lifesaver for me. Because, when you get older, the brain doesn't necessarily hold as much as it normally did. So you got to learn how to schedule your time well. Do you now schedule your time? This is a question for those online and here in the area. Do you actually schedule your time? Mentally, all right. What about scheduling it using a scheduler? Google Calendar. Okay. No. Anyone online? Do they use a scheduler? Anything? Google Calendar, Microsoft Outlook, the calendar on your phone, anything like that. And so we're going to talk about why using those things are important, right? So ask yourself these questions. What are my values, right? What is it that I value about time? Now, I'm looking at faces in the room. And I know Thomas is here. He's a little lighter complected than most of the faces in the room. But if I say CP time, what do you say? Right? And so then what does that mean? It means that our values sometimes have to do with what? Our race or our culture, right? You're getting ready to go to a wedding. The wedding starts at 2. You leave your house at 2 because you're on CP time. Maybe those online are not necessarily of the darker complexion, but you too may have your own culture and your own time management. Now, for me, I was born and raised in England. And so for me, we were always on time. If you were 5 minutes, if you were there 5 minutes to the hour, you were late, right? And that's how we grew up. So for me, it's very difficult. And you saw how early I got here this morning, right? So normally, that's my norm. That's my norm. Now, I'm not saying you all need to do that, but think about this. When you get to class late, what happens to you when you need to concentrate on what the professors say? What happens? Yes. Now, all of a sudden, you're stressed. Everybody in the classroom's turned around and looked at you. Now you're feeling like, oh my God. Now the professor has this frown on their face. Now you're thinking, oh my God. The professor knows me now and I'm the late person. So these are some of the things we need to think about when it comes to our values and time. And our beliefs are very similar. What do we believe about time, right? Is time willy-nilly, or is time structured, or are we in between, right? And that is coming from our own personal set of cultural beliefs and norms. And there's nothing to be ashamed of there. But what you do need to realize is that if you are going to do well in college, managing your time well and understanding what your beliefs are about managing your time well is going to help you to be successful. You may need to change your habits in order to do well in college. Now, how are you using the 168 hours in your week? Now, I'm emphasizing that. Remember the professor in me? Because at the end, there's going to be a cute little quiz kind of thingy. And I have little gift cards for you, right? But you need to answer the questions correctly. So, how many hours are there in a week? 168. Now think about that for a minute. 24 hours in a day, right? And the whole week is 168 hours. How are you using that time? There you go. And if you're not using it well, do you need to reclaim or learn how to readjust to manage your time well? Anybody? Yeah, yeah. Listen, we all do from time to time. Let me tell you, we all do from time to time. And you know when it's happening because the last workshop told you, your stress levels start to go up. You start to get anxious. You start to get irritable. You start to get, like you're not really pleasant anymore. You're not a nice person because now everything's going wrong because you ran late. In my classes that I teach the SLS classes, if you've ever happened to take one. In my classes, I say this: if you get up late and you are rushing to school and you get to school late, and God forbid you get that ticket before you get to class, and then you get to the parking lot on the other side of the campus. These days it's not that full anymore, but it used to be full, right? That's how you're starting out your day. That's not a good way to start your day, is it? How much do you think that ticket is? That speeding ticket? At least $100, right? And now you're thinking, how am I going to pay it? But you chose to not manage your time well when you chose not to get up on time. And those are things that you want to make sure that you understand. Now, this is a video, and I'm hoping that it can show with all of the contractions here. So we'll try it. If not, I'll explain it and we'll go from there. So we'll try it first. And if it doesn't work, let me just do this. I'm going to stop sharing. Then I'm going to share again. Then I'm going to do this thing here. Then I'm going to do share sound, right? I think that's what I have to do. Now online, tell me if you hear this video and see it.
Probably the biggest complaint that I hear
Do I have to
about
unmute?
the impact of COVID on our time is
I don't know if I have to unmute in order for everybody. Well, I'm not muted. So why? Oh, I think the speaker's off. You know what? To not get this thing all crazy, I'm going to just explain what she's saying in the video. All right, so this was a video that I would share with you ordinarily. And this woman, look her up online. She does a lot with time management on YouTube. Her name is Julia Morgenstern. And she's got a couple, I think about 20,000 followers or something like that on YouTube. And so when I look at the stuff that she does, it's very good in terms of helping you understand about managing your time. So simply put, she says that you can either be proactive about time or you can be reactive about time. Proactive or reactive? Which are you, do you think, when it comes to how you manage your time? Well, let's first start out with a definition. What is your definition of being proactive?
Before you have to, like, because you have a deadline, if you plan to do it like before, so you're doing it on that time, versus do like right now.
That's exactly it. So you're planning to manage your time. What does that look like according to her? You take a small portion of your day, first thing in the morning maybe it's a Sunday where you manage your week. Depends on how you like to do it. But you purposefully, right? Sit down and say, for instance, how many classes do you have in all this term, sir?
I'm taking
Three. So you're taking 3 courses this term, right? Is this your first term?
no, this is my third.
Your third term. Anybody in their first term? No? So if you were in your first term, it would even be more crucial, right? Because you remember your first term,
Correct.
right? And learning to manage your time then well, it was a little bit of a difference, right? Especially if you're coming right out of high school to college. Because what happens in high school? How is your time managed in high school? Bingo, they tell you what to do, right? But how is it managed in college? You better. No professor is going to say, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. They, some will give you, and I will give, for instance, in my classes, I teach public speaking and I teach student life skills. And I will say in my public speaking class, remember you have a speech due next week. That's it. Once the assignment's closed, they're like, Professor, can you open it? No. Because you got to manage your time well. I teach in 8-week segments. My time management means I've got to grade them on time. Your time management means you've got to submit the assignment. So you think the professor's like, she's so nasty, she won't reopen it, but you don't realize the ripple effect that it has when something has to be reopened, right? Especially because I teach online now. So managing your time well is important, and being proactive is even more important. So what would that look like for you with your 3 classes, do you think, in order to be proactive about your assignments, your quizzes, your tests, your midterms, your finals? What does that look like in terms of being proactive?
So basically to be proactive about it, I would have to, I think me personally, I would buy a pen, and then during the week, the first thing assignment, just write it down and what I need to do. And I would also count like my extracurricular activities, social life too as well.
Yeah, in a minute, I'm going to do an exercise with you that takes all of that into account, right? It's called Where Does Time Go? And we're going to do that together, right? If it was online, I would give you the link. And if anyone would like the link, I'll give it to you after. So I'll give it to Trio folks and they can email it to you. But it's kind of a great, it's just like what you said. It's where you place all of everything into one thing, and it tells you precisely how much time you have left after scheduling all of that out, right? And so that's something that I recommend that you use from time to time, right? Now, I'm not saying that you need to get kind of, you know, like really uptight about managing time, but if you find yourself always rushing, if you find yourself doing your assignments at the last minute, if you find yourself not doing what you need to do at the appropriate time, you find yourself getting stressed about it, then you need to do what? Reclaim your time. Make sense? So how to use your time well in college? As I said, if you have a schedule, you should have something that you're using to schedule your time. For guys, I know you said that you'd like to you would get a planner, but frankly, I find guys don't like to walk around with a whole lot of books and stuff like that. So my strong suggestion to you is to use an electronic planner, to use your Google Calendar or use the Outlook calendar that you have through Broward College to put those assignments in there. Now, how many of you have courses in D2L? Yes? Do you have the D2L Pulse app on your phone? Yes? No? Yes? Yes? Guys online, do you have the D2L Pulse app? Why is it important that you have that app? What happens?
Because it reminds you of the due dates before they're due.
Yes. It actually, through the app, it pops up the due dates that the professor, now this is only if the professor has populated the information in D2L, but if the professor's populated it and you've downloaded that app, all of a sudden, the night before, it says your assignment is due at 11:49 tomorrow night. And you now, if you are like at work doing a double shift or something, now you think, oh my gosh, I can get this done timely because I have a scheduler such as Pulse or Google Calendar. When you put your assignments in Google Calendar, you set the dates and the times for it to pop up. Then you get the notification, you're good to go. You will do better, I guarantee you, in your courses if you do this. Now, complete your own schedule and make it a habit to do so, guys, right? As you progress. For instance, when I was your age, an undergraduate, or, you know, doing an associate's or a bachelor's degree, you know, life was, I mean, honestly, it was not that complicated. But when you get on to doing the bachelor's, all of a sudden, things get harder and harder and harder, right? Right, Thomas, would you agree? And all of a sudden, you've got to plan more. The papers get longer. Let's say you're doing a criminal justice degree, right? Here at Broward, they might have asked you for a 5-page paper or 7-page paper, that might have been the tops. When you get to FAU, they're asking you for 10, 15 pages, right? And that needs to be cited, right? Researched and all of that stuff. If you have not planned your time well, I cannot tell you the stress level that you may have once you're doing that degree, not to mention the master's. And let me tell you about the PhD. It was 25 to 35 pages of papers that they wanted each time, 25 pages. And when you're doing a PhD, you have to write a book, right? The dissertation, right? So you better learn how to, what? Reclaim your time. So now we're going to take a look at something called Where Does Time Go? It's a quiz, but I'm going to let's all do it together instead of me giving you a link for you to do it. And it is precisely, we're going to build a plan together based on all of the different things, right? So even though it's going to be different people chiming in, we're going to pretend it's one student, one person building a plan. Make sense? Any questions before I move into this? No? How you guys feeling about this? You all right with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it resonate with you guys?
Yes.
All right, now, let me see if I can share this online. Now, let me know if you're seeing this online.
You can minimize.
Yeah, okay, thanks. You guys seeing this? Is everything okay with this? Can see it? Good, good, good. Now, this is called Where Does Time Go? Now, someone in the room, I'm asking you to volunteer just to read that paragraph out loud.
It may seem like there aren't enough hours in the week to get everything done. That may be true, or it may be that you are using your time as efficiently as possible. To assess where your time goes, complete the inventory below. Be as honest with yourself as possible. The items are done every day and will be automatically multiplied by 7 to show you your weekly goal. All number of days can be adjusted depending on how often you do each activity. After you have responded to all questions, you'll have the opportunity to see how many hours remain in the week for study.
So we're going to do this together as a hypothetical, but you can do this separately. I'm going to send you this link, and you all have the opportunity to see for yourselves. Where does your time go? So shall we start building this schedule? So on average, how many hours do you sleep each 24-hour period, including those naps? 8. I'm going to average it, what? 8, 9. So we're going to say 8, yeah? Does that sound good? All right, so we're going to put how many times? So I'm going to put number of hours per day. We're going to say 8, right? So now, remember how many hours were in a week? How many were there?
168.
And we've already used 8 in a day, right? We've already used 56 of those out. Can you imagine just that quickly? All right. Now, the second one is on average, how many hours a day do you engage in, toiletry, grooming, showering, making yourself look cute and all of that stuff? And if there's somebody responding online, let me know, okay? Because I want folks to be involved online as well. 2 hours? 2 hours a day, 4? An hour?
At night too, though.
Yeah, like you have more afternoon, but it's also considered.
Brushing your teeth, washing your face. It's,
Washing your
yeah.
Right.
In the morning and at night, is a total of 2 hours or 1 hour.
Anybody put anything in the chat, Tom? How many hours a day do you engage in grooming activities? 2 hours? All right. So we've got between 2 and 4. I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna say, how's that? 3? 3 hours per day? That's 21 hours of our time already gone. On average, how many hours a day do you spend on meals? That is preparation, that is eating and cleanup, right? So that might be going to the McDonald's and getting back. It might be cooking that meal and cleaning up afterwards. How many hours per day? 3? 3? Sounds good? Right? Because you gotta run, you're gonna go get some breakfast. You may have to get lunch, you may have to get dinner, you may have to clean up at some point, yeah? 3 is good? All right, 3 is good. All right. How much time do you spend commuting to and from campus? Now, this is South Florida. This could definitely be better.
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
An hour.
An hour, so it's 30 going and 30 coming?
No.
Oh, 15 and 15, okay, so you're an hour. Anybody else? Anyone online? Commuting, 30 minutes? All right, so I'm gonna put it. All right. On average, how many hours a day do you spend doing errands? Running, paying bills, maybe picking up your siblings, whatever you have to do. Yeah.
2, 3.
3, 2? Yeah,
3 hours.
yeah, we go with 3? All right. There we go, 3. This didn't calculate, did it? What is this, 21? For some reason, okay. On average, how many hours do you spend each week doing co-curricular activities such as student organizations, trio stuff, church, etc.?
2 hours. You said extracurricular activity.
Extracurricular, now that could be, on average, how many hours do you spend each week? It says, I'm sorry, not each day, each week.
Include like exercise.
Student organization, church, let's see, on average, work, class, spending time with friends, partying, engaging in daily activities. Yeah, that would include exercise. 8? Okay. 12? So I'm gonna say 11. All right, on average, how many hours a week do you work at your job?
25.
25?
20.
20? 40? 27? 20? All right, so I'm gonna go with 30, all right? You guys aren't in school. How many hours do you spend in class each week? Each week. How many hours do you spend in class each week?
6.
Each week? 6?
6.
6?
6, yeah.
10 hours.
10? Okay, so I'm gonna take it up to 8 then. On average, how many hours a week do you spend with friends, going out, watching TV, going to parties, etc.? Now be honest here. One? Three? Partying? Anybody online? How many hours they spend partying? I know that people spend more than 1 hour partying.
I don't go to parties.
Right, I know, but those who do. Anybody?
I feel like some hobbies, so it was like talking over the phone with them, like.
Friends, just hanging out with friends. It could be, going to a friend's house, hanging out, gaming, put all of that in.
You said FaceTime friends?
Yeah, it does. On average, how many hours a week? 3 hours a week? And you don't FaceTime, you don't do the social media stuff, talk on the phone? Huh? 4? A week? 56. I mean, I know you spend a lot of time on social media, right? I know you spend a lot of time, how many of your gamers? Watching TV? I know that it's not 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, I mean, that's more like it, right? All right, I'm gonna say. Okay. So this is the number of hours you are spending each week engaging in daily activity, right? There are 106 hours in a week. This is the number of hours that remain. So according to this, you guys are not overusing your time. You're not. You see do you see the bottom number there? How many hours do you have left? There was one that didn't populate though. So we're going to minus 21. Three sevens. 3 times 7. 21. Minus 21 from, so it's 29. In either case though, that's the time. How much time are you spending studying?
30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day? 0. See, you're honest. 15. 4 weeks. So you've got that 27, 28 hours left, right? A lot of times when I do this in my classes, because a lot of students party. This is South Florida, right? South Beach is there, Fort Lauderdale is there, people party like it's no tomorrow in South Florida. Usually they're minus hours. And so then I'll ask how you're going to adjust them, right? In order to do well in college. And remember, the beginning of this said you need to be honest about this. So anyway, that's just a little bit about where does your time go. Any questions online? I don't want to leave you out. Are we seeing the presentation online? So there was another video called Organizing Your System, right? And she's telling you how to use a planner and an organizer, right? So she's telling you specifically about this one app that Google offers, and it's called, God, I can't remember the name of it now, Google Keep. Anyone use Google Keep? Yes. So when you get a chance, take a look at Google Keep. I'm going to send this presentation to you. Watch this video. Google Keep is something that has changed my life. I use it. It's like a task organizer for you. So whatever task is important, you put it in there and you put precisely the steps, right, that you want to use to get it accomplished. It pops up. It tells you precisely what you need to do. And so you're not thinking to yourself, my gosh, was I supposed to do again? Which test was I supposed to study for, right? Okay. So Google Keep it interacts with Google Calendar, right? And it helps you to schedule your time well. Microsoft Outlook Calendar has a to-do list, right? It's very similar to Google Keep, but it helps you to manage your time well. Why am I telling you these things? Because they certainly are not paying me. right? To advertise these things. But why am I telling you about these things?
And I want to claim our time.
Yes, I want to help you to reclaim your time. So tips to be successful and to organize your time well. Priorities. When I say priorities, what does that mean to you? And this is where we come into the next workshop later on, where we talk about procrastination. Procrastination, a lot of times, is not managing priorities well, right? When I say priorities, what do you say? Necessities, yes. Things, you said need? Yeah. Yes, that's it. What is most important, right? So you gotta walk the dog, you gotta study for your midterm, you gotta get on Minecraft or whatever game it is these days. Huh? Or meal prep. What's the most important? Where's the priority there? How do you prioritize those things, right? You use a to-do list, right? Right? And you make sure that you have your top 3 priorities. If you're in college, where should your college work be on that to-do list? Where should it always be? In the top 3, right? Somewhere in that top 3. Now, this is a big one. How do you manage disruptions, guys? There you go. So how do you manage disruptions? You're going to study or you're going to get ready to write a paper, right? Your mom calls you, right? She wants to complain about your brother or sister. What do? Listen for 2 hours? You say to your mom, wait a minute, you say to your mom, I'm busy? Yeah. Are you going to tell your mom that? You better learn how to tell your mom that, right? If you don't, you're not going to be managing disruptions well, right? Now, avoid taking on too much. So you're working 30 hours. What do you think is the average hours they say that students should work if they're doing a full load? You're not doing a full load, you're doing 3 courses, right? Are they 3 credits apiece? So that's 9 credits, right? So what is a full load? 12 credits. So at 12 credits, what do you think the experts recommend? How much time should you be working if you're doing 12 credits? 30 hours, not more than 30 hours, right? Now, unfortunately, for most Broward students, especially when we're coming into the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, guess what happens at most of their jobs? You got to work more time because a lot of Broward students are working in retail, right? And so the boss is saying, look, you're working here at Target, sorry, you got to come in because we're going to have the after Thanksgiving rush. But you have a midterm. What do you say to your boss? And this is where you make the transition, right? Sometimes you can't afford to say no to the boss, but sometimes you do need to say no. If you can afford it, if that money is just going to buy the latest sneakers, you can afford to say no. But if that money is putting food on the table, then you can't afford to say no. Then you may need to take less courses if you want to be successful. It took me 9 years to get an undergraduate degree, ladies and gentlemen, 9 years. I had kids, I had a full-time job, I was married. And so the priority was to take care of the kids, make sure I had food on the table, and then to get the degree. But it took me a year to get a master's and 4 years to get a PhD because the kids were older. So my priorities then shifted, and yours should too. My motto for you when it comes to managing your time is short-term. Anybody heard of this? Short-term pain for long-term gain. That means that you need to sometimes sacrifice the job. If it's about the sneakers, sacrifice the job if the job is getting in the way of you managing your time well for college. Make sense?
Yeah.
Learn to say no. No, mom, can't talk now. Love you very much. Talk to you later. Bye. No, can't play basketball with you guys this evening. I mean, when I'm finished with this, I'll be out there with you boys, but right now, can't do it. No, can't go to the movies this weekend, got a paper, right? No, can't hang out with you guys. And learning to say no is critical. It's critical. I have to tell you, young man, it's harder for men to say no to their boys than it is for women. Women generally can say no quicker. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Not for him? Last but not least on this slide is let go of perfections. What do you think I mean by that? Yes.
And I was gonna say like, I think it goes into like what you were saying, like, don't take on so much, like, people try to be everywhere all the time for everybody.
Exactly. So some people, I had students in my class who will say, nobody can walk my dog like I can. Seriously. Nobody can do my laundry like I can. Nobody can clean my house like I can. So they got to clean the house, they got to do the laundry, they got to walk the dog, sacrificing their college work. But guess what? Doesn't matter if somebody can walk the dog like you can. The dog's getting walked, isn't it? Doesn't matter if the laundry is not as white as you used to. It will be after you get the degree. It doesn't matter right now. Let it go. Let it go. Seriously, perfectionism will kill you because you want to do everything all the time. It's exactly what you say. Something's got to give. It's one of my favorite movies. All right, now to get organized, you've got to have a to-do list. So a to-do list helps you prioritize. It helps you get over procrastination. It's a critical starting point. And when you use a to-do list, it helps you to take a look to see what's important and cross off everything that you've done so that you know where you are in the process. So to manage your time well, you need to know, what are my priorities? What are my goals? Is my goal to get an A in math, right? Or is my goal to just pass math? Seriously, it's a difference, because if my goal is to get an A in math, then I'm going to go hard. If my goal is to pass math, I'm not going to go as hard, right? What is urgent and what's important? You discussed that earlier. Ask yourself, what terrible thing will happen if I don't do this right now? If I don't wash the clothes right now? What terrible thing will happen? I don't mean just regular thing. What terrible thing will happen? And then you work on the top priorities first. Those three. Everything else gets pushed to the wayside, especially if you're in college. So today, in this workshop, I hope that you take away that you need to understand how to become more proactive and less reactive. I hope you learned how to achieve better results by understanding the importance of a plan, of a schedule. It could be a Google scheduler, it could be a Microsoft, it doesn't matter what you use something. Use the Pulse app, right, for D2L. And then demonstrate, hopefully you'll learn how to demonstrate effective organization and scheduling skills to be successful at reclaiming your time. Yes? All right. So we are going to do a quiz. You're going to need your phone, right? Online, we're going to do a quizzes. Let me give you the website, and you're going to do a quizzes, just 10 questions. Let me see if I can find the link here. Quizzes, here's the link. Now I'm going to put the link in the chat. Chat. Now you guys in the chat should get it. Now I'm going to go to the website, and you're going to be able to, wait a minute, yeah, you don't need the link, I'm sorry. Start a live quiz. So you're going to go to joinmyquiz.com. Online, go to joinmyquiz.com. Forget about that link. Ignore the link I just sent you. And then put in 868-856. 868-856. Those online will win a $10 Amazon gift card. Here in the room, you will win a $10 Dunkin' Donuts card. You want the Amazon card? She's like, but if you do win, I'll give you the Amazon card. So we have two winners, right? One online and one in here. So if you come first or second, joinmyquiz.com. The game code is 868-856. 856. 868-856. You all learn something? Take something away with you? Yeah. So we got 7 in. Let's see. How many are in Zoom? All right, guys, in Zoom, are you okay? Do you have the quiz and the game code? We just have 7 in. Anybody else? Waiting, I'll wait about 3 more minutes, okay? Everybody in Zoom okay with the quiz? Okay, we have 9 in now.
Anyone who wins Dunkin' Donuts.
Suppose you win it, you're gonna give somebody else one?
One thing, I'll be nice.
Okay. All right, we got 9 in. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes and we'll get started. All right, so we'll get started. Oh, sorry. You know I'm not nice. All right. How many hours are there in a day? 24. All right, here we go. All right. Maria and Rachel. Rachel. Question number 3. See how you're doing. All right. Rachel and Maria. Next. That should be organized. That's a no-brainer, right? So we were question 4 of 10. Let's see how we're doing. Anybody in the room in the top 3? All right. This is question number 6. And so Google Keep was one of them. Remember that Microsoft had its own version called To-Do List. So you can use any one of those to help you manage your time well. Question number 7. You know what? This was managing your time priority. Should ask yourself if this is in the A, B, or C column. So that should be 1, 2, or 3. Remember I talked about you should be in the top 3. But I didn't get to show this video, unfortunately. So this question might skew.
Yeah.
I understand. All right. Question number 8. This is a no-brainer.
Yes, I should.
Yes. I might need to change the answer to that, because remember what the young lady said, the one previous? Sometimes to release stress, what you gotta do. I might need to change the answer to that one. But it shouldn't be a priority, not over your schoolwork, guys. All right. See who's leading. And this is the last question. I think this one is for you. I don't know you well, but this might be for you. All righty. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Someone with somebody, yes, would someone just take a picture of the, I just need to know who the winners are so that I can, Okay. Woo, Thomas, who was third? Who was fourth? Jay, somebody, I think it's fourth. There was somebody who was fourth. All right, so Denise, is Denise here in the room? And Maria's online? So Maria will get the gift card. And who was the other one? After Thomas. Jeanette, what is it, Janeth? Jeanette. Jeanette, online?
Yeah, she's on.
All right.
Shout out to Denise.
See, you were talking about that gift card. So what I do hope that you take away from this is that if you're not managing your time well, it is now time to reclaim your time. Take good care. It was nice being here today.
Thank you, Dr.